Here we are at the 2013 Birmingham Games Expo. This is the Ragnar stand, 25 years and counting, and we're here promoting Promised Land.
Right, so here we are. I'm going to demonstrate Promised Land. We're taking it from Book 2, small demonstration. And in this period we've got the building of the temple by David and Solomon. Well, Solomon built it, but here's the city of Jerusalem which David founded. And the ark has been brought there and a priest has been placed here. Now we've got 2 units here and it's all ready to go. Meanwhile, the heathen were dealt 4 cards at the beginning of the book. We had the Egyptians, big card. We've got Phoenicians, Ammonites and the Arameans. He has to discard one of those cards. He's chosen to discard the Arameans. You may wonder why he's kept the Phoenicians. It's a weaker card. Well, the weaker card is worth 3 points at the end of the game. Also, Phoenicia up here, having played that, he was able to place his merchant into the port of Phoenicia. That means he'll get a revenue of 2 silver at the end of his turn. Okay, so back to Jerusalem. And guess what? The Egyptians are about to attack. Now, as it happens, we've set up the game so that the thing they're wanting is the ark, and I've left the ark positioned here. So we've contrived this somewhat so that you get the understanding of what's going to happen. The Egyptian card shows 7 units. It's also a very good fighter in the plains, because it throws 3 dice, and it's a reasonably good fighter in the hills where it rolls 2 dice. So let's get on and see if they can get hold of the ark. So the first thing he's going to do is going to invade the plains there. Now, because it's got 3 dice on the plains, and because this has got no extra defence, that's an automatic victory. What we call a forced victory, so it comes straight up. Now going to do a second attack into Lachish here to go towards where the ark is. And here you see it rolls 2 dice. Now he could choose, instead of rolling 2 dice, to force victory again by placing a half unit on there, and that would be a loss of that unit. That half unit can be used later to attack another hill if he so wishes. However, being a true Ragnar, he's decided he's going to roll the dice instead. So he's going to roll 2 dice for the hills, and the defender rolls 1 dice. The defender wins. So removes the Egyptian army, places another army. Because he's continuing the attack, he gets a +1. 2 dice again. Come on. 6 + 1 makes 7. Can't beat that. There are 2. This army is lost. Off it comes. This is a patriarch. It's another merchant sitting there. He's going to have to retreat. So he retreats to the same kingdom, the red kingdom of the southern Hebrews, to there. Now, we're going to do that attack now to try and get hold of the ark. So place a man into Jerusalem. Here, there's no chance of a forced victory because he's got some defence. He's got +1 for the city, +1 for the stacked unit, and +1 for the ark. So it's 2 dice versus +3. Oh, 6. Or 5. That's a loss, I'm afraid. So one of the Egyptians goes. Move on 1 there. +2 now. He's not doing very well. That's another loss. So what he's decided to do is he's decided instead to use now his siegecraft. He could have used this at the beginning of the turn, but he's decided to use it now. That gets rid of the city defence. So now we're at an even dice roll. 5, 1. It's a win. So remove those units. The city comes off. The temple comes off. There are only 2 temples in the whole game. There's only 6 cities, so these are going to move around the map. This priest here has to retreat. Goes to there. The ark can be taken back to Egyptian safe territory. He gets a +1 defence for his Egyptian start line. However, when the heathens have possession of the ark, they get a -1 on the dice roll because, as you know, plague can come with the ark, so it's a negative. Right, so he's got 1 unit left. What's he going to do? I think he's going to decide to build a city. It costs him 1 unit to build that city. He'll build it in there. So, that's the end of what we call the map moves. That's all finished. We move on to the actions. In a 4-player game, which is what we're playing here, you get 3 actions. It costs 1 action to move along here. It costs 1 action to move along the royal track. And it costs 1 action to place a patriarch. So, back to here. His objective in the turn was to take the ark, so he's going to move that on for 1 action. He's also built the city and he's got the ark there, so he's decided to put his priest into here. That's his second action. For his third action, I think he'll go for this one, which is to build or destroy a city. We did both, as it happens. So he's going to move on to there with that second action. Third action. Okay, so that completes the actions. On to revenue. He's going to collect his 2 silver, as we said earlier, because of the merchant in Phoenicia. And down to here, the priest now gets 1 for the city. That's 1 gold, and another gold for the ark, so he collects 2 gold. Ching ching, money goes in there. The last thing in the phase is he can now buy some artifacts. There's a choice of artifacts, they all cost different amounts. Here we've got 6 gold will buy you a 2 point at the end of the games, and it allows you to place 2 patriarchs in your turn. Here you get 9 gold, will allow you to double the value of any one of all your patriarchs in any one kingdom. This one here is a treaty, that costs 9 as well. You can imagine what that does. This one, 6 bronze, and it gives you the chance to have 2 extra units. Right, and that concludes his turn. At the end of the game, you're going to win by having victory points along from this track, victory points from this track, which I haven't explained, but you can read the rules to find out about that track, and the value of the artifacts. There's additional points for his weaker units, and 1 or 2 points for how many patriarchs you have on at the end of the game as well. And there you are. That is a brief, very brief rundown of Promised Land. Thank you.